Hello and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. This is part 4 in my Hudson River School series. And in this video, we're going to continue working on the sky and the water and try to show how to do sun rays. So we're using Infinite Painter for Android, and if you want to follow along traditionally, check out part 1 in this series where I have a list of all the paint and canvas and the brushes that I use. So here I'm looking through some of the palettes that we have in Infinite Painter, and this is kind of a new addition, and it's really nice to have these palettes because they're ready-made colors, and you can even make your own palettes in Infinite Painter, so that's a really nice addition. And here I'm just kind of working on the clouds. I want to add more yellow to the sky now because we want to show more of the sunset. So I'm adding the yellow glow that's behind the trees, and that's kind of going to be where the eye will go in the painting. It's your focal point. And so then I want to go ahead and work on the shape of the trees against the sky as well. And just add a little bit of a faded brown because it's in the background. It's not going to be as intense. And so I want to go ahead and add a little bit of that orange color and just kind of give indications of the trees way back in the background there. And then I wanted to go ahead and work a little bit more on the sky and try to add the sun rays to it. And you can use one of the dry brush in Infinite Painter. There's a one like that, or there's a fine hair type brush. I'm maybe not getting the names exactly right, but they're thin hairs or sparse hairs, whatever that one is called. And that makes pretty good sun rays. And put this on a separate layer if you can, so that when you mess up, which you will, because I do, it has to be practiced a lot. But anyway, when you mess up, then you can erase it and go back and fix it. And try not to do this if you're following along traditionally. Sort of add this very lightly. And if you mess up, then you can go back with some of the original colors and paint over it again and do a bunch of colors again. And if you hear growling in the background or a sheep hollering, yes, I live on a ranch. Yes, I have a lot of animals. I have some cats. I have a sheep. I have cows. Right now my cats are fighting because I'm doing a voiceover. And my sheep is hollering because she keeps hearing my voice. So yes, there's a lot of animals involved in this production. Anyway, now back to our regularly scheduled programming as soon as I make the kitties stop fighting. Okay, here we go. So I'm working a little bit on the background and trying to get that sunset glow and the sun rays there. And the way you do the sun rays is you take the dry brush technique and use a flat brush if you're following along traditionally, and just put a little bit of paint on it and take that light yellow mixture and just lightly drag in a straight line away from your light source to make it look like sun rays over the clouds. So here I'm working on the boat and I'm trying to get the silhouette right. And I wanted to just go ahead and just paint over the pencil drawing that I have there. Just because if I deviate from that, I'll get the shape messed up. So you just want to follow along on the pencil drawing, or your vine charcoal, or whatever it is that you have if you do this traditionally. And I just want to kind of get the edges right, and make sure that you do this on a separate layer, and I kind of didn't, so it kind of messes things up, but you need to do it on a separate layer so that if you mess up on the shape, it will look right. And so here I'm toggling off the drawing that I have underneath it, and I can tell that I didn't get it exactly right. So I'm going back over it again and erasing out the shapes, trying to get it right. And if you mess up on this and you're following along traditionally, you can add the color of the water around it and just kind of smudge it in. And if you don't get the colors matched exactly, then put some of that color in your water and make that your sort of main color in your water. That's one of the little tricks you can do when you mess up. And so here I went ahead and erased that out and on a separate layer, and then redid the silhouette so that it looks better. And then I'll go back behind it on some of the other layers and fix that color a little bit and just kind of smudge it in. And here I'm zooming out so I can see what it looks like, and trying to get that correct, and so that it shows up against the sun, and it looks pretty good here. And then I went ahead and added some little tree branches in the background as well to give that a little bit of detail to the background trees. You don't want real dark lines, you want light gray, and you just kind of want very small thin lines. And you can do this if you're following along traditionally with a script brush. And you don't want those to show out real big, but you want a little bit of some detail that just makes it look like there's real trees back there. So you want to go ahead and just add that to the background trees, just a little bit. Don't go crazy, don't put a lot of it in. We just want a little bit of some indications there. And then here I was still working on the bottom of the boat, and I wanted a little bit of some ripples, a little bit of a line, and to try to get the bottom to look flat, because it's in the water, so it's going to have the water line on it. So anyway, I've got that going, and I use sort of the watercolor and kind of a bluish color. And we just want to kind of make sure that the boat is flat on the water and horizontal. You don't want it to be leaning, because if it leans, that means it's sinking. So you don't want that. You want to try to get it straight with the water. And you have to make sure that your painting is straight sometimes in Infinite Painter and also on your easel, so that you can tell what you're doing there. And then here I added a little bit of some more orange back into the water, and I'm fixing the background that I messed up on Infinite Painter. So I'm smudging that in, and then I messed up there and had to undo that. And if you mess up when you're doing this traditionally, grab a paper towel and some water and quickly get it off if you're doing acrylics. And then I'm just kind of smudged it out and erased it and stuff on Infinite Painter. And then here I'm just kind of working a little bit more on the background, and I'm zooming out. I'm zooming in and out a lot to see what it looks like. This is the equivalent of taking several steps back and looking at your painting on the easel if you're doing this you're doing this traditionally. So I wanted to see what it looked like, and I decided that I need to darken the clouds a little bit. And so I wanted to make that contrast. So first I added some more sunlight. and I'm using one of the airbrushes to put some sunlight in the water, put some above and around the trees, just to make it look like the sunlight is shining through holes in the trees. As you can see, it is in the photo reference, and it's also reflecting on the water. So I threw that in as well. And then I wanted to go ahead and work a little bit more on the clouds and try to get the look of that amber look that's in the background there. And I like to use the legacy brushes a lot, the Leo brush and the Vincent brush, and they're not in the newest pack, I don't think, but you can download them. And some of the other brushes are similar to them, so you probably don't need them, but I've been with Infinite Painter since version 1, so I like to use the legacy brushes. And then here I'm just working on the clouds, trying to get the look of clouds floating in front of each other. Thin, wispy clouds floating in front of the puffy clouds in the back. And so I'm adding kind of an orangier color and a lighter pink color, and leaving it broken and like in strands, because these are the thin strands of the clouds that are in front of the other ones. It just gives it a more realistic look. Now you still need to blend those in and make them look soft. And I'm adding some touches of bright yellow to give it the final highlights on the clouds there. And you want to go ahead and just kind of smudge those in as well, just to give it the fluffy cloud look. And so I'm just kind of trying to work on the cloud structure a little bit more. You just kind of have to go around your whole picture and just work on different areas, and you may get one pretty good, and then you go to the trees and then work on the clouds a little more, and you just kind of gradually bring up the final highlights. And so here I wanted to add a little bit darker colors to the clouds and then add the lighter colors, working on the dark and light pockets of the clouds. So I've added a little bit more of an off-white here to try to give the cloud structure here, and just trying to get the little wisps that you see in the sky. And again, I wanted that glowing look that's kind of there above the trees. And the way you do that is to get a lighter color, a lighter area, and try not to smudge it out, which I have a bad habit of doing. So you have to really work on that. And so that's what I'm trying to get here, trying to get that look so that it gives that glowing Hudson River School style look that they had. Frederick Church was really good with that kind of stuff. And if you look, you can find books on the different ones. Thomas Cole, Frederick Church, some of the other ones, Bierstadt. They actually have books you can buy, and I would recommend getting them and just studying them. Or you can get them, download them on Kindle, and they have some of those there too. So I'm just kind of trying to get that look of that cloud right there above those trees, that glow in the way they just float in the air. So this is the end of part 4 of my Hudson River School series. And in part 5, we're going to put all the final touches and the highlights and just finish it out. So if you want to see that, then hit the subscribe button. And thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you later.